Pastor Sean, extremely impressive. Murag, it was so extreme that wala na kay masulti kundi awesome. Kana na lang a word. Awesome. My God is, how can you describe your God? My God is awesome. Huh? Yes, awesome. Can you elaborate? No, I cannot elaborate because my God is really, really, really awesome. Okay, extremely impressive. You are in an awe with your, not with your learning, magkalahi na siya. Nga, mayroon ka nga, my God is awesome according to, okay, kaya na-learn mo according to my learnings, or according to my pastor, or according to my leader, or according to my research, or according to YouTube, or Facebook, magkalahi na siya kaysa anang, my God is awesome because I encountered Him. Magkalahi na siya. Nga naka-define ka and i-agree ka that God, your God, is really, really, really awesome because you have encountered Him. Wala lang kang gisultian. Kung na-encounter ni mo si God nga awesome siya, walay tao nga maka-disqualify ana. Okay? Pero kanang atong learnings, pwedeng daghan kay mga tao nga mo disqualify anang atong learnings. Mo criticize anang atong learnings that my God is like this and my God is like this and His attribute is like that. But when you say my God is awesome, why? Because then you connect to your one particular experience nga nakaingon ka, awesome si Lord, walay maka-disqualify. This is so great. This is so great. So, awesome because of personal experience. Mo na yato ang dream. Na I remember one time sa akong previous nga church na ako'y close kaayo nga pastor, friend. Niin ko sa iya before God take me, ngay adto ko niya sa iyang kingdom sa heaven, I want to experience Him in a very powerful way. So naminaw siya nako siya nga, unsay but di mo pasabotin ko nga, I want to experience miracle. I want to experience signs and wonders. Di ko ganahan nga nakadungog lang ko nga kanang tawhana Christian like me naka-experience og miracle. Naka-experience og signs and wonders. Naka-experience og kanang instant healing, miraculous healing, miraculous promotion, miraculous abundance. Di ko ganahan nga makadungog lang. Ganahan ko nga ako po mo testify. Nga ang akong God is the God of miracles. Naminaw siya na ako ba? Ano siya nga? Weird. Huh? Anong weird man? Siya, sa ako, enough na save ko. In my mind. Oh, di, Lord. Di, Lord, nga enough nga kahibaw ko, save ko, Lord. I want to experience more of you in this world. I want to experience your power. Come on. If that is your dream, come on, clap your hands to God. If that is your desire. That I could say that my God is an awesome God because I encountered Him one experience 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until I die. My God is awesome. So today, we'll be discussing about awesome compassion. Awesome compassion. Nagunahuna ko ning compassion ba nga murag inko nga compassion katong na-feel ni Jesus, katong nakita ni Jesus ang crowd. And then He had, niingon ang Bible, and He had compassion on them because they were harassed and helpless. So I was thinking na daga mga stress kay mga tao, unya kinahanglan nila si Jesus, kinahanglan nila salvation. So yes, it's very, very important nga ma-save tanan because mo na yung heart ni God. Pero in this particular passage nga atong studyhan karon, murag ma-mind blown ta tungod kay ang naka-experience ani dili si Jesus. Ang naka-experience ani nga nag-testify siya that my God or our God is a compassionate God is not coming from His disciples or mga husho nga mga mga main Bible character nga atong yung gilook up, di ba? Atong gipang look up like Moses, di ba? Si Moses, akong gilook up si Moses like Joshua, nga siya ang nag-lead, nga murag nihunong ang sun, so para lang ma-defeat nila ang ilang enemy. So for 24 hours, ang sun nihunong midday, okay? 24 hours midday, wow! Para lang ma-defeat, mahuman nila ilahang war against their enemy. Mao na akong gilook up ni mga Bible characters, and then ganahan ko makaistorya po si Peter, unsa gyud siya katakles nga tao, okay? Nga kaya niyang i-rebuke si Jesus. So, mao ni mga gipang look up nako. But I was so surprised because the person who described God as a compassionate God is not a famous character in the Bible. Na mind blown ko sa iyang testimony. Because the meaning of compassion, according to Bible's dictionary, a quality of care and sympathy. And it is a consideration towards those in a kind of difficulty, any kind of difficulty or crisis. So, compassion means consideration of your situation. Okay? Nga dili considerable ang imuhang situation, pero gi-consider niya. Okay? So, naamantay, kanang ato i-consider kanang mga tao nga close sa atoa or influential kay mga tao, ato i-consider ilang situation. Pero katong mga tao nga dili close sa ato or dili influential or dili nato kaila, sometimes atong i-neglect. Pero kining tawhana nga naka-experience kini ingon siya, God has an awesome compassion, was not famous, was not known, and in fact, she was known as a person that has a questionable character. Rubiha, no? So kung naka-describe siya nga si God has an awesome compassion, how much more you as a child of God today? We can describe as well God if we are desiring and praying and have the strong desire in our hearts, Lord, I want to encounter you. So that na ako'y story. So, let's open our Bibles in Genesis chapter 16, verse 1 to 14. The person nga naka-encounter ni God was Hagar. Maybe some of you, Hagar? Okay la na? Yes. Dili siya well known. Ang uban nakaila, Hagar? Medyo salbahis man ang babae. Okay? So, atong tanahon, okay? Genesis chapter 16, verse 1 to 14. Wow, this is so good. Are you ready? Say yes if you are ready. Yes. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children. He had a female Egyptian servant, Hagar, a servant, an Egyptian, not an Israelite woman, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said to Abram, behold now, the Lord has prevented me from bearing children. What you anak, Abram? Go in to my servant. You know what the context, kung maingon kag servant, walay authority, walay rights. No rights. As in mura kag appliances. Nga gipalit. Okay? Kung di ka tagaag valor, dili ka tagaag value sa imong master nga nakapalit nimo, what you kay value? Okay? Mao nay context sa servant at that time. All right, that's why walay servants ang mga Israelite people nga Israelite pod. Mga foreigner ang ilang servants kay ilang i-treat as a thing. No rights. Okay? So Hagar was an Egyptian and she was a servant of Sarai. Sarai said to Abraham, behold now, the Lord has prevented me from bearing children. So go in to my servant, my property, my thing. It may be that I should obtain children by her. So kung mga anak siya, wala siya'y authority sa iyang anak tungod kay servant nako siya. Ako ang nay authority kay ako iyang master. Ing ana na ang context. Now, and Abram listened to the voice of Sarai. Not the voice of God, but the voice of Sarai. So, the author has something to say sa atua. It's very, very important to listen to the voice of God, not the voice of anyone else. But anyway, he listened to the voice of his wife at that time without consulting God. So verse 3, so after Abram had lived 10 years in the land of Canaan, Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar the Egyptian, her servant, and gave her to Abram, her husband, as a wife. And he went in to Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, she looked with contempt or disrespect on her mistress, on Sarai. Murag maka-imagine ko siyang naong ba? Di na siya mutahod ni Sarai, di siya moingon nga master. Amo agaon, mingon siya nga, Sarai, dako kontiya no. Daog di ka. Ikaw muramang kag gikor siguro ka ni Lord. So servant musulti kung ngino ana sa master. Wa ba kay authority? Wa ba kay rights? You are just a thing, no value. And now you are telling me with this respect that I'm nobody and I'm nothing, tungod kay pregnant ka, mo nay makita na to. It's a no-no for a servant to disrespect her master. It's a no-no because you don't have any rights and you don't have any authority and you don't have any value in their context. It's different from our mga helpers or mga, kung kisay mo help sa balay, different sa atong context karon sa ilang context before. Verse 5, and Sarai said to Abraham, may the wrong done to me be on you. Lagot kay siya Abraham. Medyo gidisrespect bang kuaning ako ang servant. May unta ang wrong done to me. Either gikan ni Lord or niya sa imo buhaton. Because I gave my servant to your embrace, and when she saw that she had conceived, she looked on me with contempt. May the Lord judge between you and me. Siya nga ang ako servant, wala ko irespeto. Abraham, so mani, imo ba ning gi-educate? Imo ba ning gi-tolerate? But Abraham said to Sarah, behold, your servant is in your power. Okay? You have all the authority over your servant, Hagar. Do to her as you please. Kita ninyo ang picture? Wala joy authority and rights ang servant. Bisag unsay buhaton sa master, it's legal. Okay? So, then Sarai dealt harshly with her. Harsh lang. Harsh words, harsh actions, harsh commands, harsh situation, iyang ipakita kang Hagar. And she fled from her. I thought before, nga si Hagar, gipapahawa ni Sarai. Lapahawa diri. Kay disrespectful ka, wala, gitreat lang niya harshly. Because she can do it because she's the master of Hagar. Under their law, it's okay, it's legal to treat their servants like that. If the servants became disrespectful sa ilang mga masters. So she treated Hagar with what? Harshly. But then, wa niya palayasa si Hagar, but what did Hagar do at that time? So, Hagar easily made a decision to live without consulting anyone, especially her masters. Verse 6, but Abraham said to her, behold, your servant is in your power, do to her as you please. Then Sarai dealt harshly with her, and she fled from her. She made that decision easily, without consulting Abraham, without consulting Sarai, her master. Basta ningon siya, di ko ganahan diri, kay mabdos naman siya. Mura siya na ay sense of entitlement ba? I'm a blessed woman, I'm a good woman. So, pahala mo diha. So, she did not consult Abraham, her master, and especially Sarai, her master. And then verse 7, the angel of the Lord found her by a spring water in the wilderness, the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from and where are you going? She said, I am fleeing from my mistress, Sarai. The angel of the Lord said to her, return to your mistress and submit to her. The angel of the Lord also said to her, I will surely multiply your offspring so that they cannot be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said to her, behold, you are pregnant and shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has listened to your affliction. He shall be a wild donkey of a man, his hand against everyone. Oh no, what a prediction and what a prophetic word coming from our God. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he shall dwell over against all his kinsmen. So she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her, you are a God of seeing compassion. For she said, truly here I have seen him who looks after me, and therefore the well was called Be'er Lahai Roy. It lies between Kadesh and Bered. I want to go back to verse 9. Verse 9 said, the angel of the Lord said to her, return to your mistress and submit to her. The title of the message that I would like to preach to all of us today is, I'm coming back to the place of my blessing. I'm coming back to the place of my blessing. Because sometimes we missed to receive God's blessing because we keep on moving from one place to another. Di ba? Transfer diri, transfer dito, maka-feel og discomfort, transfer, maka-feel og ingon ani, di na ko ganahan ani. Sometimes we miss the place of our blessing if we keep on transferring from one place to another, or from one opportunity to another, from one open doors to another, without consulting and asking God if this is really His will and His purpose for you to really transfer. Sometimes we miss that. So for you to go back from where God has called you to be, it takes what? It takes something so significant encounter from God for you to make a decision to go back. But if you cannot encounter God in a very life-changing way and transforming way, then you will not make a decision to go back, and you would always miss the blessings nga ganahang ibubo ni Lord sa imuha. God wanted us to go back. God wanted us to go back. Say, I'm coming back. Come on, go ahead. Come on. Wow. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Because if I don't come back, I will be missing a lot of blessings and favor, because I'm not pursuing the purpose and the will of my God. I'm pursuing my own purpose and my own will. So if I pursue my own will and my own purpose, God will continue to make me go back to His will and His purpose. You know what? I experienced this. Maybe some of you dungong sa akong story that I made a decision not to become a minister or pastor anymore. Kay murag, nainahitabo sa akong kinabuhi, nga murag, di ko kadawat. So, I keep on declaring at that time, nga ang akong boss at that time, grabe ka iyahang faith sa ako, aba, for my promotion. Ingon siya nga, you are a branch manager. Okay? Kinakita siya sa akong ability how to sell life insurance. Nga in one sitting, I closed the deal. Okay, in one sitting. Okay, for just 1 hour, I closed the deal. And ingon siya, you are a branch manager in Cavite. So he keeps on declaring that. And later on, I believe that. And I keep on declaring at the mirror, ko nga, you are a branch manager. You are not a pastor, because I resigned from my previous church. And I was thinking that I'm disqualified. I'm not a pastor anymore. I'm not worthy to become a pastor anymore. But in fact, I have a new dream. And my dream was a branch manager. Okay? So that was my declaration and that was my dream. All right? But Anong nibalik ko? Okay? I will continue the story after this. Now, the reason why we have a lot of chances to go back, okay? Listen carefully. The reason why we have a lot of chances to go back and be restored, because our God is a compassionate God. In other words, our God considers or considered your future and your situation and your family and the next generation from you. The reason why we have a lot of chances to go back, to be restored, and to return back to our blessing, it's because our God is a compassionate God. It's not because you just realized one day. Dili tungod kay, naghinukto ko one day, unya, akong nakita sa akong mga pag-calculate, sa akong mga pangagpas sa kinabuhi, sa akong mga plano, feeling nako, murag sayop ni, murag sakto tong si Lord. So, it's not because about it. It's because our God considers your situation. Our God is just so compassionate to touch your heart and to touch your soul and to touch your mind and give you this command, go back to the place of your blessing. Because you are running away, you keep on running away, and you keep on running away from the place of your blessing. Although you keep on pursuing blessings coming from me, but the place where you are, I cannot bless you because you are in a wrong place, in a wrong time, and in a wrong will, and in a wrong purpose. We have a lot of chances because our God is a compassionate God. Kung wala ang compassion ni Lord, kung wala ang iyang consideration, we cannot go back. As in, we can. Mingon siguro ang uban, pastor, ay, di man siguro, kay worthy man siguro ko i-bless ko ni God. Oh, really? Okay? So, mas worthy ka na i-bless ni Lord, mo nang nibalik jud ka, kay worthy ka nga i-bless ni Lord. No, we know that we are not worthy to receive anything good from God. We know that we don't deserve anything, we don't deserve to receive anything good, blessing, and favor coming from God because we are sinners and we are at the mercy of our God because our direction is going towards punishment and hell. But God is so compassionate enough to bring us back to our blessing. Come on, clap your hands to God if you feel that. He is the God of all chances because He is a compassionate God. Now look what happened to Hagar in her encounter. Verse 7. The angel of the Lord found her. Oh, grabbing a word. Can I observe this with me? The angel, who found Hagar? The angel of the Lord. Every time we encounter that word, angel of the Lord, it was a theophany. Okay? Kanang a manifestation of God in a human form. It was not the angel of the Lord. And according to all the most of the scholars, it was Jesus. Okay? Tungod kay Jesus lang ang naa human form. Pero wala pa siya makonceive through Mary. That's the miracle. That's the power of our God. So every time we describe in Bible that he saw the angel of the Lord, it was theophany, the manifestation of the presence of God in a human form. And they call that the angel of the Lord. Say, Ayun, the best. Pwede na tamanguli. Okay. So, now the angel of the Lord found her. It was not Hagar who sought God. It was not Hagar who found God. It was not Hagar who was seeking the counsel and the advice of God. It was God who found her. Where? By a spring of water in the wilderness. Where? In the wilderness. Where? In the place of blessing, in the place of encouragement, in the place of fruitfulness, in the place of progress. No, in the place of dryness and wilderness. The spring on the way to shore because she was so hungry and she was so thirsty because she was running away from the blessing and the favor and the will and the purpose of our God in her life. She was running away because she was pursuing her own feelings. And she was not looking for God, and she was not seeking God in her life. And God was so compassionate enough. Si God ang ni-reach out. Grabe sa compassion ni Lord eh. You know what, this word in the Bible in Exodus, pagkamatay na nila Joseph, o katong old Pharaoh, na ibagong Pharaoh ni lead sa Egypt, wala kailang Joseph, wala kaila sa mga Israelite people. They treated the Israelite people harshly. And then the people of God cried out with groaning. This is so hard. Crisis anywhere. They are not calling God. They were just crying. They were just groaning. Hopeless. They were crying and not calling God because most of them were idol worshipers. Moses was not with them at that time because Moses was in the wilderness for 40 years. They were crying not because they were crying to God. They were crying because too much harsh and hard labor that they were experiencing in Egypt. They were crying. They were not asking God for help. But you know what? When God called Moses, a compassionate God, when He called Moses, He told Moses, Moses, go to my people, and I want you to set my people free because I hear their cry. What? Ay sa Lord, nadunggan nimo imo ilahang hilak, ngano day nitawag sila nimo? Wala. Nganong imo mangipaminaw? Hagar. Nganong ipangita man nimo si Hagar? Ni consulte si Hagar nimo? Ni cry out tayo sa Hagar ni mo nga, Lord, help me my situation. My master treated me harshly. Oh God, this is not good. Lord, crisis anywhere, crisis everywhere. Lord, this is a hard life that you gave to me. Lord, I'm crying for help. No, she was not asking God's help, but because our God is a compassionate God, He would always find you. He would always reach you out. Come on, in 5 seconds, clap your hands to God if you really appreciate His compassion. Si God ang ni-reach out. According to the Word of God, the angel of the Lord Theophany found her. She was not seeking God. She was not asking or desiring to have the will of God in her life. She was not asking God's purpose in her life. Nganong pregnancy. She was not asking God's favor. She was not asking God's blessing. But our God, who is the God of mercy, reached out. Like you and me. You know what? Mauni ang assurance na to. Na ay mga times that we cry without calling God. Nihilak lang ka, kay nasakitan. Nihilak lang ka maybe injustice. Nihilak lang ka tungod kay na ay broken relationship. Nihilak lang ka tungod kay na ay harsh treatment ang imuhang loved ones or family circle. Nihilak lang katungod kay pait imong sitwasyon. And sometimes wa ka mutawag ni Lord. But this is our assurance. Even though we are not calling the name of our God, come on now, because our God is a compassionate God. He hears your call. He hears your groaning. He hears your cry. He hears your heart. Your heartbeat is so loud in the ears of our God. Come on, clap your hands to God if you really understand His compassion. And then God told Hagar, He said to Hagar, Hagar, servant, I want to remind you that you are a servant of Sarai. Verse 8, where have you come from And where are you going? That's a good question. Kami yung tanga, di na ko diha, oy. Ari ko diri. Munta ni si Lord. Asa ka pa dong? Hawa, okay pa, oh Lord. Sa pagsapag magkaasa ka? Lord, wow, kukay ba, oh Lord. Tanawa ang tubag ni Hagar. Igo siya. Where have you come from? Where are you going? She said, I'm fleeing from my mistress Sarai. Where are you going? I'm fleeing from my mistress Sarai. Where are you going? I'm fleeing from my mistress Sarai. In short, I don't know. Ano ni pahawas ka sa trabaho? Asa ka pa dong? Ay, wako kay pa. Pait kay trabaho, Lord. Asa may nindot ka trabaho nga di pait? Wako kahibaw. Siguro sa church, sa Victory Christian Fellowship, pait po diri. Kumakaila kasi mong boss. Okay. So, Lord, asa, where have you come from? Where are you going? I came from my mistress, but she treated me harshly. Na ako'y grabing experience ito. Where are you going? I came from my mistress. Where are you going? I came from my mistress. And I don't know. God, I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Paspas kayo ta makabuhat og desisyon. Pwede paspasa. O sige, putlon ang relasyon, putlon. Saaday. Unsa may next? Okay po. Pahala na. O sige, murisahin ko. Saman, lisura na ang naong sa kong boss. Mga boss diri, no? Mga blessed king mga naong. Wa na diri ang mga... Okay. Di ko ganahan na itong trabaho ay kalisod. Stress kay ko. Environment na ko, stressful. Ang mga tao, stressful kay mga naong. Di ko ganahan. Asa ka pa dong? Mubiya ko sa stressful na ko nga company. Asa ligya pa dong? Mubiya ko sa mga tao nga stressful. Asa ka pa dong? Mubiya ko sa stressful na ko nga boss. Asa ka pa dong? Mubiya ko, basta mubiya ko. Asa ligya pa dong? Hagar, I'm fleeing from my mistress. Nayon si God, where are you going? I'm fleeing from my mistress. Where are you going? I'm fleeing from my mistress. Kaya ba kang anong gibalik-balik na ko? That's how stubborn God's compassion is. He won't stop until you will be reached out. He won't stop until you will come back to the place of your blessing. He won't stop. He won't stop. Even if He would send His one and only Son, Jesus Christ, just to win you, just to save you, just to bring you to the place of your blessing, God will do it and He will not stop because He is the God, a compassionate God. Come on. 5 seconds, clap your hands to God. Our God is a compassionate God. And verse 9, God said to Hagar, the angel of the Lord said to her, return to your mistress and submit to her. Return to the place of your blessing and submit to her. Return to the place of your blessing and stay there with submission and stay there with humility and stay there with excellence. Return to the place of your purpose. Return to the place of my will over your life. Return to the place of your blessing and wait for me because I am a compassionate God. Dahang itag reason to run away from God's favor, God's purpose, God's will, God's blessing. What is your reason? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Lord. Napaday. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Napaday. Where do you go? 0. Return to your mistress and submit to her. Return to the place of your blessing and stay there. Return to the place of your blessing and wait for me. Return. Thank God that He is so compassionate. Even though we are running away from His purpose and His will, but His compassionate heart will bring us back to His purpose. I want to read this. We need to go back. I want to read this one. We need to go back and stay because sometimes the place of our problems, come on now, the place of our problems is the place of our blessings. Come on, let's clap our hands to God. This is really true. The reason why we miss the blessings of God, it's not because dili generous si Lord. The reason why we miss the blessings and the favor of our God, it's not because God has kanang wanay gipabor-paboran si Lord, ay gipili si Lord, or God is too busy for you to be blessed and to have His favor. No. The reason why sometimes, and maybe most of the time, we miss the blessings of our God na nakadesign for us, it's because we run away from the place of our blessings just because of a simple problem. Di na ko diha, Lord. Di na ko diha. Nga naman di ay, basta di na ko diha. Asa ka pa dong? I-bless lang ko, Lord, ko asa ka pa dong. Really? May na lang yun, compassionate si God. Ningon si God, verse 10. And the angel of the Lord said to her, I will. Okay? Go back to the place of your blessing because I will surely multiply your offspring so that they cannot be numbered for multitude. Look at Arab nation. Many citizens from Hagar. Verse 11. And the angel of the Lord said to her, Behold, you are pregnant and shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has listened to your affliction, even though you are not asking me for help, even though you are not crying out to me, even though you are not desiring to encounter me, but I have listened to your affliction. I have heard your cry, and I have heard your groanings. I can see your hardship. I can see the crisis that you are going through. I can see the frustration that you have in your heart. I see that every day, and I see that every night. When you go to your bed, you are crying, and your pillows were getting wet because of your tears, and God saw it, and God listens to your cry, and because He is the compassionate God, He will bring you back to His blessing. Verse 13, so she called the name of the Lord, who spoke to her, You are a God of seeing. From a servant, from a Gentile, she defines the divine attributes of God. She said, You are the God of seeing. For she said, Truly here I have seen Him who looks after me. Who looks after me. Even though I was not looking after Him, but He looks after me. Because our God is a God of compassion. Our God sees you, hears you, loves you, cares for you, looks after you. Why? He is a compassionate God. When I resigned to my previous church, my wife was crying. And I told her, nautanam siya sa ako, asa tapadong? May na lang kay na word si God. Ningon si God, gamiton ko niya. Beyond that fog. Unsa nang beyond that fog? Wala gipakita ni Lord. Basta ningon siya, gamiton ko niya. Asa tapadong? I don't know, padong ta ni God. And then one day I keep on declaring, I am a branch manager. I am an excellent financial advisor. I am an excellent insurance agent. I am an excellent manager of a branch of that insurance company. While I was declaring that without consulting God and without asking God's purpose and will in my life, one encounter of my life, God told me, Zab, kneel down. I knelt down before God and I was crying and I cannot speak any word. I cannot say any word. And after 5 minutes of crying, kneeling down before God, God told me, Zab, stand up. And when I stood up, I faced myself in the mirror and he told me, Zab, start to declare the words that I put you in your lips. And I start to declare, I was crying, you are a pastor. You need to go back to the place of your purpose. You need to go back to the place of your blessing. You are a pastor. You are a child of God. You are a minister. And now I'm here because I went back to the place of my purpose. And I went back to the place of my blessing. And I went back to the place of God's will in my life because I went on anywhere and I don't know where to go. I'm running away from God's purpose. I'm running away from the place of my blessing. I'm running away from the will of God. But because my God is a compassionate God, go back. Go back. I won't stop until you go back because I don't want you to miss your purpose and I don't want you to miss your blessing and I don't want you to miss my will in your life. Clap your hands to God because our God is a compassionate God. I came back and I became a pastor. Not because I'm qualified, but because I have a God of compassion. Because of His compassion, He considered my situation. I'm here serving, worshiping, praising God, preaching His word until I die. My point is this. God's compassion will bring us back to Him, back to His purpose, back to our blessing, back to our calling, back to His will. His compassion will bring us back to His purpose in our lives, no matter what happens, because our God is a compassionate God. He will continue to do everything. He will continue to reach out. He will continue to bring you back because He is a compassionate God. He doesn't want you to miss your blessing. He doesn't want you to miss your purpose. He doesn't want you to miss your favor because you are a child of God and God loves you so much and He has compassion on you. His compassion will bring us back to our blessing, will bring us back to Him. Let's all stand.